Okay, this is my Glock 19. I'm gonna show you how to remove the slide and reinstall the slide. There are a lot of videos out there and everything, but this is my first handgun and the first time I've ever held a handgun. And I made some mistakes when reinstalling the slide last time that cost me some time. And I want you to avoid the same mistake. So first and foremost, right, you wanna make sure that the gun is empty. I've already made sure it's empty, but just for everybody's sake, I'm gonna show you. When you press the magazine release, which is on the side that I am on, this is the magazine release. Note that on the other side, it's going to pop out, right, when you press it. So you press it, right, the magazine comes out. But if you have your hand here and you're trying to press it, well, like this, right, it's not gonna work because your hand is compressing the other side, right? So press this, let the magazine come out, magazine is empty. Pull the slide back, make sure there's nothing in the barrel, right? Nothing in the barrel. Point it in a safe direction still, even though it's empty, just to force that habit. And we're gonna press the trigger to allow us to release the slide. So we're gonna press this trigger, okay? And then we are going to hold the gun like this. So basically, you see how your thumb is wrapped around here, your hand is up here, you're gonna slide it back a 1/4 inch, okay? So I pull back 1/4 inch, you see a little tiny bit, just about that much. And then there's a tab here, right? And there's a tab on the other side. And it's the same piece. And so it's kind of annoying if you pull down one side too much without pulling down the other side equally, you know, you'll end up with it like this or whatever, and the gun will not release. So hold them tight. You don't need to put your fingernails or anything. Sometimes that helps. I thought that would be helpful at the start. Put my fingernails into the grooves and try to pull down. Doesn't help that much. You just want to compress it really hard and pull down. And then you'll be able to release the slide, okay? Now when you release the slide, obviously pull it all the way forward and you have your slide off. You have your gun in your barrel, or sorry, your spring in your barrel here. When you take your spring off, just note the direction that it's in, right? The correct way. If you put it back the incorrect way, it will just jam up. If you try to force it back in when your slide is not in correctly, or your spring is not in correctly, it's just gonna jam the gun. That happened to me, and I learned the hard way to know which way the spring goes in. You're just gonna compress it and bring it out. And I'm gonna compress it and take a little bit longer just so you can see how you make sure you put it in the right way. If I compress it, note that it comes up here, okay? So it pushes up, oops. You see how that rises? Okay? That's the correct way to put it in. Now, if I take it out, you can also note, okay? This is the side that is gonna face away from you, right, when you're shooting. So that's how it actually goes in. This side with the little hole is the side that is facing you, right? So when you're holding the gun, at least. So here we go, right? You see the little hole, okay? You're going to put it on the second groove. Let me show you that for a second. So if I take out the barrel, right? The barrel just pops right out. So if you have it here, you see this, right? You push up there and it'll just come right out, okay? Just slide it back. Now, note the grooves. See that? You're gonna put it on the second one. It's gonna lean up against the second one. And how do you know that that makes sense? You can see their little curve. You see how that, it's just curved? So it's gonna lean up against the second one, but it's gonna just be tucked into this curve here. Okay, you see that? The side that has the hole is on the inside, okay? And it just tucks right into here, okay? That's how it's gonna end up going back in. So when you put it back in, you grab your slide here, put the barrel back in, right? You just slide it back in there and it just rests. And when it's resting, you see it's just right here, okay? Now you're gonna put the spring back in. You see the spring here? How do I know it's the right way? The little hole right there is facing the back of the gun, and the front of the gun has this side. How do you know? Again, you can put it in, right? And you'll be able to compress the spring Okay, and you see how it pops out a little bit from that side, right? So you see how that goes up? I put it in backwards last time, and I didn't put it in the right groove, and as a result, when I slid it or tried to force it back onto the gun, note that too. If you're forcing something, you're doing it wrong. I forced it back in and it jammed. And fortunately, Norco Armory here in Norco, California, the owner's name is David, fantastic guy. He took care of it for me and he didn't even charge me anything. So obviously I got some stuff that I needed, but he is an awesome guy. So this slides back on, okay? And when you slide it back on, just pull it, okay? Just test my trigger, make sure it's good. Right, it works, everything is good. So the other thing I wanted to cover is this slide release tool. And you'll see it's got little grooves inside here, and basically they fit right into these grooves, right? Or these tabs. I got this before I realized that you don't actually need to use necessarily your fingernails and stuff and try to put them in the grooves and, you know, do funny things to try to get the release down. Really, all you need to do after you've pulled the trigger and released the magazine, make sure the gun is empty, is press as hard as you can on these two. And then when you pull down and you've done the quarter pull already, it will slide off for sure. So this tool is actually quite helpful for that. Again, you have to do the same steps. So this little smooth kind of curved side, it faces towards the back of the gun, and then you're able to pull these two tabs down and it comes off really easy. So the tool itself is fantastic. I don't know that you necessarily will need it. Give it a shot. Press as hard as you can on the tabs. Don't worry about trying to get your fingernails and stuff inside of the grooves. You don't need to do that. You just press as hard as you can and pull down, and the gun will come off, or the slide will come off. But the tool itself, I think it's great. You just look up Glock slide release tool on Google and you'll be able to find it. I'll link it as well. But good tool.